Hi, I'm Heather, and welcome to what I call a basic yoga practice. Not basic that it's necessarily easy, but that someone with the average range of motion should be able to do most of the moves. So you don't have to be really flexible, you don't have to be really athletic, but still listen to your body and don't do any moves that cause pain. And the props we'll use are a couple yoga blocks, but I know not everyone has yoga blocks at home, so if you have like a couple books around this size, that should work fine. So let's get started, and this is dedicated to my friend Lori. Begin standing, feet about hip width apart, comfortable stance. Lift a little through the lower belly. Extend through the crown of the head, getting a little extra length. And on an inhale, we'll bring the arms up. Exhale, let them circle back behind you. And again, inhaling up. Exhale, circling back. Kind of like the backstroke. Breathe through the nose. And go at your own pace, but just make the movement and breath match. So the inhale comes all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Feeling the shoulders start to warm up and energize. And we'll go in the opposite direction. So inhale up, the arms behind you. Exhale them forward. And we're trying to get into the zone where it feels almost like the breath is initiating the movement. So that inhale lifts the arms up and the exhale places them down. Bring the fingertips to the shoulders. Inhale, look up, press the chest forward, elbows back. Exhale, bring the elbows forward while you look down and bend the knees. And continue another fluid warm up. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, leaning forward. This one for me especially feels nice if I've been working at a desk and my kind of shoulder area is sort of tight. Also warming up the spine, the lower body. And maybe going a little bit deeper here at the end if you feel you can bend the knees a little farther. Coming back to center. So now we're going to lift up one leg and make a little circle with the hip. So if your balance is a little off, touch the foot down every time in the middle. If you want a little more of a challenge, maybe you can do the circles without putting the foot down. But either way, we're starting to warm up the hip, move it through that circular range of motion. Helps to look at a focal point. And now we'll do the same movement with the same leg in the opposite direction. So bringing it from behind to forward. Getting that hip area nice and supple and fluid. Back to center, and the same thing on the other side. So we'll bring the knee up, circle behind, either touching down, or if you want the balance challenge, to do the circles without the foot touching. Either way, just paying attention to the hip, feeling of going through its sideways range of motion. And same move, same leg, opposite direction. Warming up the major joints of the body here. And back to center. Now we're gonna bend the knees, bring your hands to your knees and make little circles with the knees here, feet together, generating some heat through the knee joint. You might have a little creak or crack. And then the opposite direction, circling around, working out any kinks. Back to standing. We're going to move the ankle in a circle. Again, it's normal to have a little creak and crack. Other direction. And then we're going to bring the foot behind you with the toenails on the ground and gently press. And it's kind of a nice stretch and top of the foot that we don't normally stretch. Feels kind of good. And then the other ankle moving in a circle a few times. And then the opposite direction. And then bringing that foot behind you, pressing the toenails down and gently pressing into the foot, waking up the feet. And now hands on the hip. We're going to inhale, come up on the toes, exhale down. Strengthening move for our calves and ankles. It's normal to feel a little heat. If balance is off, you can just come up and down a bit, or if possible, you're going to come up through your ankles full extension. And try to also control the way down. So we're not just plopping down, you're using control to come up and down. It's giving us a good base for balance poses, standing poses, and also just for general life. It's good to keep the ankle and calf, Achilles area strong. And just staying with the sensation of the heat building. For me, I have some fire at the back of my ankles now, and now we're going to stay up and if possible lift the arms up, take some balance, again focal point, really trying to make the body as long as you can, and exhaling down. We're going to come back into chair pose, so send the hips back, arms forward, inhale. Exhale, coming back to standing. I'm going to pulse 20 times here. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, standing. And it's up to you how far you come down. Obviously more challenging the deeper you squat. Pay attention to the knees. Also continuing to build some heat here through the quadriceps, ankles, core area. Our fluid Utkatasana. Maybe the breathing is getting a little more difficult to keep up with. Heart rate's accelerating some. Just stay with it, feeling the fire. Feeling the body getting stronger, opening. And we're going to stay here in Utkatasana. I like to tuck my tailbone under a little bit to support the back, keep the belly strong. Again, just stay with the fire in the legs. Try to keep the breath controlled, and then we'll inhale up, exhale, release the arms. Inhale the arms overhead. If possible, interlace the fingers except the first two index fingers. And then exhale, we'll lean to the right, opening the chest. And try to keep the weight even through both feet. Inhale back to center. Exhale, stretching the other side, feeling the oblique muscle here. Again, try to keep the weight distributed evenly through both feet instead of leaning into one. Lengthening the side body. Inhale, center. Exhale, release the arms. And we'll start to come into the standing poses. So nice wide stance, about as comfortably as you can bring the legs apart. I'm going to bend the right knee, have the knee over the ankle, tighten the back leg, the back glute, and bring the arms up, looking over your right finger. So keep the arms a little engaged, so if someone came to push your arm down, it would stay up, feeling like the muscles are hugging the bone, lifting through the belly, lifting through the crown of the head, and keeping the back leg and the back glute so strong that you can feel it taking some of the pressure off the front knee. So again, the weight through both feet. Now we're going to slide the back arm down the back leg, leaning back for side warrior, Parsvavirabhadrasana. Think of that area where your waist starts and getting a little extra length out of there. Back to warrior two. And then we're going to lean into that right leg for extended side angle pose. So reaching through the left arm. Inhale back to warrior two. Straighten that front knee and bring the feet a little bit closer together, coming into triangle. So inhale, keeping both legs straight, reaching as far as you can to the right, and then bringing that arm down to rest on the leg, sweeping the top arm up. Try not to lean weight on that bottom arm. You're feeling your obliques working here. Nice stretch through the inner thigh, openness through the chest. If you'd like to try a balance pose here, this is where you may use your block or your book. We're going to bring that right hand about a foot forward, scooch the back foot forward, and see if you can let it float up for half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Keeping the glute strong. Shakiness is normal. Keep the breath deep and long. And we're going to try to very gracefully come back into warrior two. And then we will bring the hips, hands to the hips. Move the hips towards the front leg, so the hips are square, front of the mat, and tuck your tailbone a little bit down for crescent pose. You can either stay here, or we are going to pulse, dropping the bottom knee down, inhaling up, exhale down. So again, you can just hold crescent pose, or a little more challenge is in the pulsing variation. Again, focal point, controlling up and down, and keeping the breath and movement linked, inhaling up, exhaling down, strengthening the legs, working on some balance. And then we'll stay with the back leg hovering up and lifting the arms up for full crescent pose. Again, keep the tailbone a little bit down, lengthening through the side waist, through the fingertips. Exhale, hands to the hips. Turn back to center and set up for that sequence on the other side. So bending the left knee, knee over ankle, heel arch alignment, arms up, looking over left middle finger, back leg and back glute very strong. Strong enough to take some of the pressure off the front knee, shoulder blades down. Down the back leg and leaning towards that back leg, reaching up, getting some nice length through the waist, very energizing posture. not to lean too much weight on the back arm. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, the left arm comes down onto the left quadricep. Right arm sweeps by the ear, opening the chest for modified extended side angle pose. I'm trying to get as much length through the side body as you can. Inhaling back to Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, straightening the leg, moving the feet a little bit closer together. Reaching over that left leg, hinging at the hip. And then when you can't reach any farther, the bottom arm comes down. Top arm sweeps forward and up for Trikonasana. Also keeping that top side waist oblique muscle very tight. Keep lengthening through the crown of the head. Keep a micro bend in your front knee. If you'd like to do the balance, we'll grab your block or your book. Coming about a foot forward, floating that back leg up for the half moon. It's a really nice opening for the inner thigh. And gracefully, so the back foot hardly makes a sound, back to Virabhadrasana 2. And straightening both legs, turning both feet forward now. Hands on the hips. So inhale, look up, arch back forward. Exhale, we're going to try to come forward with a flat back. If your muscles are tight, you can use the block or book here instead of hands on the floor. If you're a little more flexible, you can have the palms down, lengthening through the spine. And then the deepest variation, if you're quite open, to bring your hands between the feet, elbows pointing back, pull the head down, shoulder blades lifting up, head completely relaxed. Pasarita Padottanasana, one of my other favorites, just a really incredible back body stretch. And if you were folded, we'll come back up to center. Spine straight, inhale the right arm open. Twisting variation. Again, this is really enlivening for the body. Inhale, changing sides. Getting a beautiful spiral through the spine. Exhale back to center. And now we're going to look at the right foot and kind of move around and bring the left knee down, making your way onto the ground, onto hands and knees. So extend the right foot back. First of all, just stretch the back of the leg and then let that leg float up so it's even with the rest of the body. And if possible, you're going to lift up the opposite left arm and then really pull those limbs away from each other. Like someone's grabbing onto your ankle and wrist, and we get some really nice spinal decompression here. Stretching the vertebrae apart, making a little more space for the discs. Strengthening the back body. And then for the last couple breaths, see if you can lift the arm and leg a little bit higher. Exhale back to center. You can wiggle around a bit, loosen things up, and extend the left leg back. Lifting it up to balance parallel with the body, and if possible, the opposite right arm. Again, pulling the limbs apart. Stretching the body, elongating the spine. Either looking forward or looking down, but getting a nice pull. And then see if you can lift the limbs a little bit higher for the last couple breaths. And exhale back to center. Again, you can move and shift and loosen things up again. Now extend the, this time the left leg will come back. And then turn that left foot flat. So it's right behind the other foot. Bring your left hand to your left hip, and then see if you can turn open sideways. And then lift the top arm up for a modified side plank. This is level 1. Level 2, you can try to float that back leg up. It takes some balance. Make some work for the glutes. Either variation. Focus, breathing. We'll slowly bring that foot down if it was up. Back to hands and knees. Opposite right leg extends. Turn the foot flat. Right hand to right hip. Opening sideways, letting that arm come up, and then maybe a little more advanced is to let that back foot float up. Again, a little shakiness is normal. The body is doing its best to a lot of things that have to work together to keep the balance here. Slowly exhale, the foot comes back down. Take an inhale. Exhale back to hands and knees. And then bring your left leg forward. So you may need to have the hand to kind of help it up. So it's going to be in between the front two hands. And you're going to open up to the left. Twisting lunge, and if possible you can curl your back toes under and lift the back knee off the ground for twisting high lunge. Either way, it's a beautiful spiral through the spine. We'll slowly bring that knee down, arms back to the floor, back to hands and knees. Right foot comes forward, you can use your hand to help it up. And then inhaling that right arm up to the sky. Level 1. Level 2 will be to curl your back toes under, lifting the back knee up. Either way, imagine like someone is pressing your hips together, keeping those muscles very tight, reaching through the top fingertips, lengthening through the neck. And then if the knee is up, slowly bring it down. Exhale, the hands come back to the ground. Hands and knees coming all the way onto your stomach. Chin comes to the floor, and slide the fingertips a little bit behind the shoulders. And we're going to inhale, lift the chin and shoulders up, but only as much as you're not using your hands. So low cobra, bhujangasana. A little engagement through the legs so the knees may come off the ground. Exhale, lowering down. And the right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Kind of like in balancing table, we're pulling the limbs apart. This is very strengthening also for the back body. And in mid-air transition, so the left arm forward, right leg up. Again, pulling, lengthening, elongating the spine. And we'll bring both arms back. And exhale, release. Just let everything relax. You can be on one cheek or make a little pillow with your arms. You're going to bring the arms behind you, either interlace if possible or just have them back. And now lift up the head, shoulders, feet for another version of Shalabhasana, the locust. Again, a very important yoga posture. Bringing the arms out to the sides now, like airplane. And the most advanced to bring the arms all the way forward. Lifting. Feeling those muscles strengthening, back to airplane. And then if you're able to, interlacing the hands behind you again, squeezing the shoulder blades together, coming up a little higher. And then exhale, release, relaxing everything. You can shake the hips from side to side. Melt into the floor. back to hands and knees. And now we're going to do a modified push-up. If you're someone who does full push-ups, go for it, but I'm just going to be going on my knees, inhaling down, exhaling up to complement what we did with lower body strength with some upper body strength. You can either just come down an inch or two, or you can bring the chin all the way down to the floor, keeping the movement and breath linked. Again, feel the body getting stronger. Going to 10. And relax again. Come on to one cheek. And now a combination extension for the back and getting the triceps a little bit. We'll come into Sphinx, so elbows down, shoulders pull back. We will let the body again adjust to this extension for a few breaths. And if you'd like to add the arms, inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale, place them down, again with control. Make sure it's okay for the back. And again, aside from the triceps working, this is just a really nice way to start to pulse and open up the low back. And I always think Sphinx feels really nice. It's kind of the opposite of sitting. Back body gets to release. And maybe at this point we're feeling some heat through behind the elbows, the tricep area. Just keep the rhythm, keep the pulse. And now we'll keep the elbows up, either staying here, or if you're a little more open, you can scooch the hands a little bit closer towards you, but the shoulders are pulling back and down. And then finally lift the chin slightly, looking a little bit up for full Bhujangasana, the cobra, and exhale, slowly coming down. Relax into the earth. And come back into Sphinx. If you're tired, you can stay here, or if you have a little more energy, you can come up into a plank, either with knees down or full plank, shoulders pulling back, tailbone tucked under, power through the legs. Be holding this for a total of 10 breaths. Staying with the fire. And exhale, slowly coming down. Setting up now for side plank. So recommend maybe you fold your mat over a couple times for your elbow, coming up onto your left side. You can have the top leg come around the foot on top, or you can double stack, lifting the hips up for Vashisthasana. Can also be done on your wrist, but since we did some other things on the wrist, I was going to stick to the elbow. Exhale, coming down. Setting up for the right side. You can start out with the top leg foot on the ground, coming up, either keeping the top leg there or double stack, hips facing straight forward, reaching through the top arm, keeping the face soft. Exhale, release. come on to your back, knees bent, feet flat, arms by the sides. And we're going to inhale, lift the arms overhead and the feet straight up in the air. Exhale, come forward, the legs open like a midair split, head and arms come up. Inhale, exhale, forward. So to complement the back body strengthening with a little abdominal, also gets the inner thighs. And I always like moves that do more than one thing. So again, this is a nice abdominal exercise and a good stretch for the inner legs. We're going to 10. Trying to lift the shoulder blades. Maybe the tailbone comes up a little bit too when you're coming forward. And then we're going to stay forward. Again, try to lift a little bit higher. And exhale, release. You can rock the neck from side to side, release any tension. Feet flat on the earth, knees bent. Now we're going to inhale, lift the hips and low back up. Exhale down. So it doesn't have to be too high yet, just getting into the movement. Inhale, lifting the low back. Exhale down. And we're going to be getting ready to try a one leg version. So we'll lift the right leg up in the air and just the left foot is down. And now inhaling up, exhaling down. And often this can be difficult because for most of us, our hamstrings are a little bit of a weaker muscle in the body. We stretch them, but often overlook strengthening. So this is a nice move to kind of isolate the hamstring, give it a little more chance to work. Also the glute muscles on the back of the body. And we're going to stay up, try to keep the hips even. Again, it's normal for the bottom leg to be a little shaky, balancing bridge. And exhale, the hips come down. We'll move to the other side, opposite leg up. Inhale up, exhale down, pulsing. It's coming up to your own degree. And just think of, again, that hamstring muscle, those underneath muscles pressing up. And a little shakiness or wobbliness can be normal. We're going to stay up now. Hips even. Feeling the power through the leg. Feel maybe some quivering. And exhale, relaxing back into the earth. And now with both feet down, lifting the hips up, and maybe you can scooch one arm and then the other underneath, interlace the hands, and now try to lift more through the chest and the thoracic spine for full bridge, Setu Bandhasana. Really nice, beautiful front body opening. And again, try to have the back bend sort of start in the chest, not just the belly pressing up, but beautiful opening through the little higher in the spine. And then release the arms, slowly coming down onto the ground. Maybe wiggle the head a bit. And straighten the legs. If this next move is too difficult, just go back to doing another bridge. But we're going to try to press into the heels and lift the legs, the lower body, the hips, and the low back up. So it's just from the heels and shoulders and arms are down, and the middle is kind of hollow. You can feel the hamstrings working. It's kind of like a reverse plank. Those muscles we miss on the lower body, getting some great work here. And exhale, relax. Again, you can release the neck. Up onto your elbows. Again, if straight leg is too difficult, you can bend the knees here, lifting the hips up. If possible, we have the legs straight. Again, lifting the lower body up. If you want to be really advanced, you can lift one leg up here. The one leg variation is very difficult. Exhale that foot down, inhale up other side. Now you'll really feel that hamstring work, that leg down. Exhale, relax. And if you didn't get it this time, it can be something to aspire to. It's one that I still find very difficult. Now bend the knees again, both feet flat. You will inhale the left leg up straight. Exhale, bring the heel all the way down and slide that left heel as far as you can away from you, even getting some length through the lower belly, chest even. And then when you can't slide it any more further away, you're gonna tighten your glute muscle, tighten your quad, and nothing will come off the floor. You're just gonna slide that hip back towards you. So when you pushed it away, now it's like trying to pull that hip back up towards the face. And release. Both feet flat again. Inhale, opposite leg up. Exhale, down. When the heel touches down with the leg straight, you're sliding that heel as far as you can, feeling some length through the lower belly. And then tighten the glute, tighten the quad. And again, everything stays on the floor, but just try to squeeze that side of the pelvis, that hip bone up towards your face. Maybe feeling some inner core muscles working, almost like getting a little cramp. It's not a cramp, it's just core muscles working. And exhale, release. Both feet flat. Now here's where you're going to take your block or your book. So have it flat, it's not up on its skinny side, right under the tailbone. And same thing, you're gonna inhale the right leg up, exhale down, sliding that foot as far away from you as you can, feeling some length in the belly. Tighten the glute, tighten the quad, and then try to pull that hip back. And maybe feeling almost like a little cramp in the lower abdominal area, those muscles we don't really feel as much doing stuff. And relax, bending the knee again, opposite leg up. Exhale, straight leg, heel comes down to the floor. Sliding that heel away from you, length through the belly chest, tighten the glute, tighten the quad, and then pulling that hip pretty actively back towards you, feeling those deep inner core muscles engage. And exhale, relax, both feet flat. Now if you're pretty open, we're going to either add your second book if you're using books. If you're using a block, you can kind of turn it to the skinny side of the block and put it under the tailbone again, but make sure that feels okay. If it's a little tight, should be comfortable, go back to the flat way or even with no block. And we're gonna do that sequence one last time. So inhale, the left leg up, exhale, bring it down, sliding, and now with the blocks higher, you can maybe feel even more length through the belly chest. Squeeze the glute, squeeze the quad, and pulling that hip bone back towards the face. Exhale, release, both feet flat, and last time, opposite leg comes up. Exhale, lowering the heel down, and again, the higher length, really sliding that foot away from you, tightening your glute, tightening the quad, and then pulling that hip bone back up towards the face. Last time, really pull, squeezing those muscles, and exhale, relax. If you had the block up on its skinny side, you'll turn it back flat. Bring the left knee into the chest, interlace the hands behind the knee, and straighten the leg up to the sky while you straighten the bottom leg out along the earth. So just a nice kind of gentle hamstring stretch. Opening the back of the leg. Exhale, release, change sides. So bring opposite leg in, interlace the hands behind the knee. Straighten as much as it feels good while you're sliding the bottom leg out along the floor. Curling the toes towards the face. And we'll relax and back to both feet on the ground, arms by the sides. You can stay here. If you want to make things a little bit deeper, you could experiment with maybe straightening one leg and then the other. If that makes your back feel tight or it hurts, just go back to knees bent. You can have the arms out to the sides or arms overhead. But either variation, it's just such a nice counterpose to how we spend a lot of our life sitting hunched over. So hopefully it feels nice to feel the front body opening. And that sequence we just went through is to release the psoas muscle. I learned it from Alex Crow, who has a great website, Yoga Physics. And the psoas muscle, we don't always think that much about, but it is very important. It connects to the lower spine, loops around, and that muscle being tense can cause a lot of problems, a lot of back pain. So here we're going to bring the arms down by the sides, and when I come down from the block, it's almost like a magic trick, like a big surprise how flat my back feels when it gets down. So we'll just slide the block out of the way and slowly let the back come down, and hopefully, like me, you have just this like, whoa, that is a neutral spine. So now cross the right foot over the left knee. Press the knee away from you, and you can either stay here or bring the whole thing off the ground, looping the arm through the legs, interlacing the hands behind the left knee for figure 4 stretch. It's a nice opening for the hip. Then you're going to open the arms to the sides and just let that right foot flop down so the sole of the foot's on the floor. You'll come up on your side a little bit. You can either scooch it up a little bit higher or a little lower to make it more intense. And then gently look away from the legs. Shoulder soft. Again, this is one of my favorite hip stretches because it just gets this nice long line of stretch that feels really good. Slowly coming back to center, unwinding the legs. Now cross the opposite foot over the knee. Press the knee away from you. Either staying here or bringing everything towards you and Interlacing the hands behind the knee, figure four, let the shoulders relax, let the face soften. And now bring the arms out to the sides, and again let that sole of the left foot just fall straight down to the floor, coming onto the side. You can adjust everything a little bit higher or lower. Shoulders relax, and gently letting the head look away from the feet. Slowly bringing the legs back to center, unwinding, both feet flat. And we just have one last posture today. We're going to use our blocks or our books again. You're going to arrange the blocks or books at the top of the mat. So one is about where your shoulder blades will be, and one is going to be like where your head will be. And then just slowly lower down. You may want to shift one up or down a little bit. And then come to resting with the palms facing up. It might be more comfortable for you to have two blocks under your head, or if you have the block the skinny side up so the head's a little higher, or it may be more comfortable to have the head even with the chest. Just let the arms by the sides, palms facing up. And this is also a really nice counterpose to, again, sitting, all the leaning forward we do on the computer, in the car, cooking, cleaning. It's all kind of leaning forward, hunching over. So this is a beautiful way to let the shoulders drop, the chest open, and the body release.
recentered, a little lighter. And maybe you can feel like the shoulders are far away from the ears, nice and relaxed. And move the blocks out of the way and coming down for Shavasana, final relaxation. I like to have, my cat is a pretty good Shavasana companion, so I grab her. So traditional Shavasana is just feet flopped open, arms by your sides, palms up. If that's not comfortable, other options are you can be on your side, fetal position, you can be on your belly, just anywhere you can. Relax comfortably for about 4 minutes. Sometimes I like to imagine a beautiful place I've been,